Carowinds is one of the premier Cedar Fair parks located on the border of North and South Carolina. The park is split right down the middle between the two states, and they have a ton of great rides. This is a must visit for coaster fans, primarily because of Fury 325. But they have a great supporting lineup, and the park is so easy to access. It's like 20 minutes from the Charlotte International Airport. You often see planes flying by while you're in the park. It makes it really easy to do a day trip here. But they have a lot to offer. We're going to discuss everything that you need to know about Carowinds in today's review. Now, I've been coming here since 2015. I never got to experience it pre-Fury, but even I've been able to tell that Cedar Fair has been pouring a lot of investment into this place. They've been beefing this park up to be really one of the best in America. They're currently home to 14 roller coasters. Of course, their signature one being Fury 325, which was voted the #1 roller coaster in the world for multiple years in a row now. They also got Intimidator, a B&M hypercoaster, Afterburn, a B&M invert, one of the best, and Copperhead Strike, a Mock Rides multi-launch. I will say, unfortunately, after that, there is a pretty big drop-off as far as really great roller coasters go. They have quite a few supporting coasters, including many for families, but if you're looking for those really great, outstanding thrill rides, a lot of those roller coasters outside of the top 4 are kind of duds. Nighthawk sits right up front. It's a Vekoma flying coaster that I'm just waiting for the day that they say sayonara to this thing and put in a much better replacement in a spot. I mean, come on. It's one of the first roller coasters you see when you walk in that front gate. That is like prime real estate for something good. You got Hurler. It's an old wooden roller coaster that really should be RMC'd at this point. Flying Cobras is a Vekoma boomerang. Vortex is a B&M stand-up coaster that I'm kind of surprised hasn't gotten the floorless treatment. So while some of these are like fine attractions, they're not going to be super memorable nor re-rideable. So I know most of the time when I visit Carowinds, I'm just constantly hopping around between those 4 attractions that I mentioned earlier. But the rate that Cedar Fair has been investing in this park, I don't think it'll be staying like that for too long. I know they really changed the game when they added Fury. Not only is it just an outstanding ride, but it has this presence that really makes Carowinds what it is today. I mean, it's literally the first thing you see when you're driving up to this park. You can see this skyline from miles away. And actually, that really goes for all the roller coasters here. Overall, just Carowinds has an amazing skyline. If anything, it gets you super hyped for the day you're about to have. After you park and you're walking to the front entrance, Fury is just this giant, sprawling attraction that you can walk under. You'll see it pass directly over above you. It's probably the best front entrance to any amusement park. Now, I know there's a couple of people that will argue there, but I just think this is such an amazing first impression. I would love to see more amusement parks take this same kind of approach. You got this big, beautiful sign. It's a perfect photo op. And to either side, North and South Carolina. They even have a line going directly down the middle of the main entryway, so you can take all the photos you want. It's a super cool, unique characteristic. Carowinds' slogan is "Where the Carolinas Come Together," and so much of this park really takes in that southern charm. The park has a lot of personality, and much of that is in each of these different areas that they've been revamping. When they added the county fair section in the park with some vintage flat rides, they really dressed up to feel like this carnival, a much nicer carnival than a lot of carnivals, that's for sure. But it's a super fun, vibrant area to walk through. Blue Ridge Junction is their latest area. That's where Copperhead Strike is. Really feels old-fashioned, these kind of wooden buildings and structures everywhere. And it sounds like they're going to continue this pattern of redoing different areas. Next up with Crossroads over where Afterburn is. They're going to be revamping that Plants vs. Zombie area, with Southern Star adding some more flat rides. So once again, really giving this park some love, because that was definitely a section that really needed it, especially after they removed Thunder Road, which was this racing wooden roller coaster. They did that so they could add Carolina Harbor, although part of Copperhead Strike sits on that land where Thunder Road was too. Carolina Harbor is the park's water park. It's very nice. It is actually huge. Everything is very spread out. There's tons of slide options, and there is a separate entrance to the water park. If you decide you want to go there first, you can drive around back and enter Carowinds from the back of the park. You don't have to. There is an entryway through the main park, but it's a super nice, convenient feature that I'm sure some people really take advantage of. There is one more entrance to Carowinds. It's actually directly under Afterburn. It's rarely open though, and all the times I've been going to this park, I don't think I can actually remember a time when that entrance was available. I kind of wish they used it more often. Maybe it's just for those really busy days. But I gotta say, when you're walking around this park, I mean, presentation is just great. The landscaping looks nice. Many of the buildings are well themed. The park is clean. There's really not many complaints that you could have here. I will say, honestly, probably one of the biggest ones as of right now is that they are really lacking in the water ride department. Yes, they they have Carolina Harbor, but there's no log flume. They just took out their raft ride. So if you want to do a water attraction, then yeah, you got to go to Carolina Harbor. Now, personally, this doesn't really bother me, although I do appreciate a good log flume. I think it is sad that there aren't as many options anymore in that department, especially because it does get hot down there in the Carolinas. So I think that is something that the park could focus on, and they have the land for it, especially where Dinosaurs Alive used to be and the spot of the rapids. There's a lot of potential, even if they wanted to put a roller coaster there. With Hurler being the big wind roller coaster here, and since it's not that great, I would love to see a really big GCI put in here. I think that would do wonders for this park. One last thing I really will add in the roller coaster department though is I gotta commend their operations. They run 2 or 3 trains on like everything, especially on Fury. That crew is always extremely fast. They're pumping those trains out, as well as Copperhead Strike. The only one that I would say beware is Nighthawk. Some of those dispatches can be brutal just because of the nature of the attraction. Vortex is kind of in a similar boat with it being a stand-up. But for the most part, I've always thought the park had good operations. And you know what else? They've also been stepping up their food game. And I think I could say that for a lot of parks in the Cedar Fair chain, but Carowinds especially has some really nice options. My personal favorite is Harmony Hall. This is a big, giant, open space eatery with multiple options, kind of set up almost like a food court. Tons of tables to sit at. There's a stage for where they'll do an occasional show. I would love to see more parks add something like Harmony Hall. Like there's literally rocking chairs right out front. Like everything about it just feels homey, and not everything in the park is just your classic burgers, chicken tenders, or pizza. They have good barbecue. I recommend checking out their restaurant in Blue Ridge Junction across from Copperhead Strike. They have some good options. Towards the front, you can get like gourmet mac and cheese. There's even a Chick-fil-A and Panda Express in the park. It makes having a dining plan all the more worth it. Last things I'll really talk about are their seasonal events. I've had the opportunity to experience both Carowinds and Winterfest at the park. I'll be honest, I was not a huge fan of Carowinds. I didn't think it was that great. I had heard awesome things about it, and maybe it was several years ago. When I went last year, I was not very impressed. Not only was it just way too overcrowded, but the scare zones weren't all that great, and the one maze that we went through because it didn't have an insane line was kind of lame. So that was a little disappointing. I did really like Winterfest though. The park looked beautiful. There was a parade that would go through the park. I actually had the opportunity to be a part of it. We were like singing Christmas carols up there, waving at everyone. It was really fun. So I was a big fan of that event. So they really have some great opportunities for times of year that you can visit this park. In the springtime, you're going to have low crowds. Summer, you can get the water park. Fall, Halloween, or Christmas. Carowinds isn't quite year-round yet, but they're getting there. Their season is March to December, so almost. But I really feel the park is true to the Carolinas. It has a modern feel. Many of the areas that I felt needed some updating have been updated the last couple of years, and clearly Cedar Fair has intentions to continue doing that. So I love what they're doing here. This is always a park I get excited to visit. So if you get the opportunity, I definitely recommend checking out Carowinds in Charlotte, North Carolina. Let me know down in the comments below what you think of this place, if you agree with my thoughts, and of course stay tuned for more park reviews here at Coaster Studios, and we'll see you next time.